The high participation of women CEOs in vibrant Gujarat is always heartening. And with me is Ms. Nadia Sood, who is the CEO of CreditEnable, an Indo-British company. And Ms. Sood is also part of the official UK delegation. Ms. Sood, tell us how was your experience at Vibrant Gujarat? And I know that a lot of MOUs are being signed between India and UK. Tell us a little bit about that.
So thanks so much for having me. I mean, it was a fantastic experience to be there, just seeing the level of representation from countries all over the world, and frankly, the growth and the vibrancy that came to be showcased there, which is representative of all of India. I'm particularly excited about the MOU that's being signed in terms of greater collaboration on the technology front, because my company sits squarely in that space. We provide access to more affordable finance for SMEs by helping financial institutions service them more efficiently and helping them understand how to access debt in a manner that will help their businesses to grow. But there's a huge gap, and if India is going to get to its $32 trillion economy in 25 years, the SME segment has to get financing into it.
So there's been a lot of talk about the last round of negotiations on the FTA between UK and India. I know that you may want to, would you like to comment on that? Because, I know that there are some points that need to be worked out. Dr. Jaishankar, who's our foreign minister, has said that there needs to be a landing point that both countries are sort of like, will find mutually beneficial. So what are your views on that?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And of course, it's complicated when two large economies are negotiating across many different fronts. But it seems as though the negotiations are going well. We're all excited to have that collaboration in place. It's really important, I think, to both economies. And there's a huge amount of potential for cross-border collaboration once that's in place.
How do you see India-UK relations, especially with Mr. Sunak and with Mr. Modi? We've seen the bonhomie, over multiple occasions. And while it's great to watch that, how do you view this relationship on a diplomatic level?
Well, I think the UK, India is a massively important trading partner for the UK, and I think vice versa. So regardless of what the results of the election are going to be, it's very important that the two countries create a good, strong alliance. And I think there is the history of working together well. And so now it's about continuing that and really looking at how do each of us play off of each other's strengths.
Yes, it is the election year for both countries, and the Prime Minister has also talked about a shared history. So how do you see this relationship go about in the next year? And also tell us about this futuristic technologies that the Prime Minister spoke about today. Do you think India, from what you know, is prepared to take on the world and to understand the kind of jobs that future has in store for us?
Well, India certainly doesn't have a lack of talent, and of course the high concentration on, technical schools that have been producing engineers for many, many, many years puts India in a very good position. I think now the question is going to be, can we build homegrown products here that can translate well into the rest of the world, and how will AI also affect the job market in India, because a lot of the job market here is not particularly skilled. So I think what's going to be exciting is to see how some of the training programs that have been implemented in other countries like the UK can be implemented in mass here, so that AI becomes a complementary tool to people's work productivity rather than a threat.
Ms. Sood, India has also been addressing this challenge of low female workforce participation in workforce, and this has been a concern for us, and the government has been putting in place some moves. Tell us, with technologies like AI and futuristic, all these initiatives, you think women stand to benefit, or do you think financial literacy is something that's going to take us forward?
Well, I think financial literacy is absolutely critical. Empowering women to take control of their finances, understand how to manage them, negotiate them. But likewise, we have to help women get trained in these technologies. So the more women enter the STEM field, the more opportunities they will have at an employment level, not just in India, but to go global and essentially do whatever they would love to dream to do. I think still there's a huge gap, and some things need to be put in place to empower women. That's things around proper maternity cover when you have a baby, support for you as you're raising a family, and ways of helping people work from home, also facilitated by technology. But mainly we need to help women access more finance, because the gap is massive everywhere, and it's particularly a large gap in India.
Right. My last question to you, how do you think Indian companies, especially the small and medium-sized companies, can help get more women in their workforce and also help women understand money?
Well, I think SMEs actually are quite a bit better at doing that, and they actually are job creators who employ marginalized people, women, more, because entrepreneurs try to find people and try to help people enter a company wherever they are. They look for those opportunities. But I think in a small company, obviously what you need to try to do is to support women, show them leadership models that they can aspire to. And that means not just showing people who have ascended to the top of titan of industry, but people that you could relate to. So maybe a middle-level manager who's actually had quite a good career, who's been able to balance a family life and a work life. I think SMEs, if they can showcase their own homegrown local talent to their own employee bases, they will inspire more women to get into the workforce and join those types of companies. I think in terms of education on finance, it's really about putting in place tools and giving people digital access to education that will help them in a very practical way. So one of the things we're doing right now in India, which I'm super excited about, is we're launching a remediation product for SMEs that will help them understand what's potentially wrong with their credit profile and how do they improve it in very practical ways. So things that they can implement within a period of 2 to 3 months that will then allow them to go to a bank or an NBFC and get financing.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Sood, for speaking to NDTV. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.